Judge Osborne and my little gentleman that interviewed me, and he did a wonderful job. He said just what I told him, and what I told him was real.
All right.
Everything started with me right down here. That's when the New South was organized by Reverend Branch and Reverend Lewis and Dr. Brown and amongst others. Well, I joined that night. And Miss Carpenter paid my first dues. And I've been paying them ever since. And what I did, I started going out trying to get people to vote. And I went out and I read as many as I could, and then after I registered them and did all of that, there come a time when I had to campaign, when they would come time to vote and they give out the ballots. And when we give out the ballots, I always like to spend some time. I would go in the home and sit down and we'll talk about the ballots, who we voting for, and why it was important for us to vote for the right person, not just to vote. And then when the time came to vote, I worked at the poll a lot of times, and I had to drive sometimes, pick them up. I worked at the poll, and I had the sheet with everybody's name on it in my precinct. I know who had voted and who hadn't. So sometimes you had to do like a good old coon dog. You had to backtrack them. Yeah. You had to go back, and after you done went there and read them and all that, you had to backtrack. Some were gonna come regardless whether rain or shine, but some you got to go get. So I went back and I had see this list of my young peoples that hadn't come, that was on my baseball team. So I went back there to get them. They was having a party. They were playing cards. And I said, boys, y'all come on, let's go vote. They said, all right, Mrs.Lue, boy, we got plenty of time, we coming. And so I just sit down. And when I sit down there, they looked around and they want to get rid of me. They said, y'all, come on, let's go. They're ready to get rid of me. And so it's you know, it's not hard and it's not easy. But you got to have patience when you're working with people to vote. You got to have patience. And you just can't go to their house one time and don't go back. You can't go and just drop off a ballot and leave it there and don't go back. You got to backtrack a lot of time and go back and check on them. And I would like to read y'all a poem, but somebody one day you hear Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. I think.
Langston Hughes.
Langston Hughes. I think I want to read y'all that. So that's what I want y'all to do. Langston Hughes. Oh, Langston Hughes, mother to son, mother to son. Well, son, I tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal step. It had cracks in it, blunders, bowls torn up, and places where ain't no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time I've been a climbing and reaching, landing, turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on them steps. 'Cause you find it kind of hard, don't you fall now. For I was still going, honey, and I was still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal step. So I like to say to y'all, don't stop. Don't turn back. Please, hang in there. And thank you.